Welcome back to the Comstock channel. My name is Brianne Hendrickson. Today I have the CEO of Summit Carbon Solutions, Lee Blank, with us. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Brianne. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being on. We go live this week, December 14th at 5 p.m. Central Time. Join David and Matthew Cruz as they talk all about the carbon pipeline. They will be taking questions during the live event, but you can also send in your questions beforehand to report@comstock.com. This event will be live on Facebook and YouTube. We hope that you join us. Reapplying for a permit in South Dakota, correct?
Correct.
How are you guys facing that? How are you guys going to handle reapplying? Because you already got denied once. So what are the new steps going to look like?
Yeah. So what the denial came based on the South Dakota PUC wanted us to work closer with the local counties as to routing the pipeline. So what we've done is we've actually been working county by county to try and find a way that we can work through the counties that is acceptable at the county level. We didn't necessarily have that issue, Brianne, in Iowa, and we don't believe we have that issue in North Dakota either. We believe that the utility commissions in those two states are going to preempt the county and say that the counties don't have the ability to route these projects. And you can imagine it does get difficult if every county has a different idea about how this project should look and feel. And then, so it's better. It's a much better process for a linear project like ours, where the state says this is how you run your project. And so, quite frankly, that's some of the challenges we face. Now, what we're doing in South Dakota is we are trying to work with the county to find out a way and to establish a route through the county that makes sense to them and is acceptable to them. And that's the process we're in right now. Once we find that route, Brianne, then we file again. We demonstrate to the Public Utility Commission in South Dakota that we have worked with the counties, and we worked very hard to work with the county. And so at that point, then we refile because we now have a route that is, a lack of a better term, accommodating to the counties through the state of North Dakota, or South Dakota, excuse me. And then you refile, and the PUC considers your application at that point.
So what is the biggest issue that's misunderstood about this whole project?
I think the biggest issue is a lot of folks don't necessarily believe that carbon is an issue, that carbon is a problem, that we have to sequester carbon. They maybe don't see the significance of a carbon sequestration project because they don't believe carbon's really a problem. I'm not here to argue climate change, and we don't as a company. What we're trying to establish is nothing more than a logistics system to allow the U.S. farm gate to go hit the next economic market that is presenting itself to the U.S. farmer. That's what this project is about. And you can believe climate change or not believe climate change. Many people do believe it, and they're willing to pay premiums for the products that have a lower carbon intensity score. And that's what we're going to get, and we're doing that on behalf of the U.S. farmer.
What, if anything, is being done to address any of those? Are you guys helping address some of those concerns?
Yeah, certainly. Again, we're very transparent in our communication. Another topic is safety around this large infrastructure project. We have had numerous safety tours throughout South Dakota and Iowa and Nebraska. We continue to work on those various issues with our plant partners to make sure that people understand how safe pipelines are for hauling commodities. They have the best safety record in the U.S. of hauling just basic commodities. Again, Brandon, we have pipelines under our feet every day. We don't even know they're there, right? And so, because they're a very safe way to transport. So we're working on that issue just by being transparent. And again, talking about the benefits, which is, again, I think why the company hired an agricultural executive instead of an oil and gas executive or a midstream executive, because the benefits to agriculture that this project will present are astounding. And once we can establish that and get the project on, the markets and the farm gate will see that. And so it becomes a really good process. And we're working daily to make sure to help the stakeholders of this project understand just how important it is through transparent discussions just like this.
Let's talk about sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. This is an unknown industry to many, and I feel like every part of the country. And I kind of get to say that because I'm down in Texas and you're north.
Certainly.
But it's likely the future market for all corn. Talk to us about the opportunity it is.
It's a great opportunity. It's just another market, Brienne, that the ethanol industry can go hit. So every major airline has a sustainable goal. They have some sort of a goal that they're trying to hit by 2030, 2050. They all have an idea because they're a large emitter. And so one of the ways that they can do that is through sustainable aviation fuel. But Brian, the problem is the volume of sustainable aviation fuel today based on the consumptive demand of the airline industry is minuscule. And so there's only really one industry that has the volume and the ability to go service sustainable aviation fuel, and that's U.S. corn ethanol, because it's a large industry. But it does not qualify for sustainable aviation fuel without our pipeline. Without carbon capture, transport, and storage, the carbon intensity of the ethanol isn't low enough to meet the specifications for sustainable aviation fuel. So without our project, Brian, the sustainable aviation fuel industry cannot use ethanol. It needs low carbon intensity ethanol. And once it has that, it becomes a very good supply of feedstock for the sustainable aviation fuel markets, of which we estimate to be close to 50 billion gallons. Now imagine today the U.S. Gasoline markets for ethanol and the blending markets for ethanol are 15 billion. So if we can go meet the demand for a 50 billion gallon market through the ethanol industry, imagine what that will mean for corn prices, land values in the state of Iowa and the other states that we're working in, and what that means for the ethanol industry and the U.S. corn farmer is what I get very excited about.
So kind of wrapping up, my final question, if you could only have a minute to talk to somebody about your project who maybe just doesn't know anything, but hears it in the headline, sees it in the newspaper, sees it on social media, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that this type of infrastructure has been around for 30 to 40 years. It's just the difference is our project is large. And the other thing I would say, Brianne, to them to help them understand is agriculture always responds to markets. It responds to markets. The class one carrier, the railroads that were established years and years and years ago, 1869, when the Transcontinental Railroad came together, that was done to establish and help industry hit markets. What this is, all this project is a project that's being built based on demands in the marketplace for low carbon fuels and low carbon agricultural products that we can go hit as an industry. And it's a very good thing. It's a very positive thing. And again, the fact it's a large project gets a lot of attention. But we don't believe the fossil fuel industry is leaving anytime soon. We also don't believe that agriculture is going to be run by an electrical grid anytime soon. So why not produce a carbon responsible fuel where we can demonstrate a responsibility to these markets that are looking for someone to fill them? And that is U.S. agriculture. And that's why I'm excited to be a part of this.
All right. Again, thank you so much for being on today, and that'll do it for this episode. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brianne.
Want more premium content? Subscribe to the Comstock Report, where you will receive 2 reports daily. Want more video content? We are on Facebook, YouTube, and now TikTok. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.